Here, and certainly have a rather seemingly random and eclectic layout on the table. So what's going on here? Well, as of course the title of the video has already told you, this is kind of a channel update, what's going on post holidays with us in January, and talking about some of the videos that have been requested or ordered or sponsored by our Patreon supporters. Essentially, because of Patreon rules, we had to scrap our old tier system, and still haven't worked out a $10 and up perk yet, but for $1 and up, supporters are welcome to submit questions for our, Q&As we do every 2 to 3 months. We just did number 10 back in late December. And for $5 and up, they can request we do a video on a firearm or something kind of tangentially related. And basically, we either do a video on it or give you a real explanation as to why we just can't. So yeah, if you ask about, say, an 88mm anti-aircraft gun, there's not a whole lot we can do about it, but we can explain. So with that in mind, I laid out a few guns, kind of exemplifying some of the questions we have had so far. Now, already have done one video answering a question that was asked by a supporter about why Swiss Arms Neuhausen changed their name to Sig Sauer AG effective January 1st, 2020. So kind of already got a little jump start, but in no particular order. And for the future, guys, let me know when you request a video and it comes up on this. Would you like us to say your name or a username or a nickname, or just kind of keep it anonymous? Just let us know. I'm always kind of hesitant to release any kind of even potentially private info online, so just let us know how you are comfortable when you do that. Well, and again, in no particular order, one supporter asked us to cover Valmets again. Got my Finnish Valmet M62S out. This is close as we ever got to a real RK62. These were early imports. And he was asking about the import history. For example, Inner Arms versus Odin versus Valmet USA. Also, import numbers of the various makes, models, calibers. And about any information on accessories like the magazines and bayonets. So sure, we haven't covered the Valmet in quite a while, so it sounds like a good one to revisit. I'm afraid I may not have the whole lot of new info, but it is something I'm particularly interested in, so yeah. One thing also on that question, he said if not Valmets, if we thought they were played out, which we don't, we could cover the FNC. Now, we actually did a couple of videos on the FNC a few years ago, and really all I learned is already in those videos. So you might check out the FNFAL playlist. The FNC video should be there. In fact, the video that Chris Bartacci did a couple of years back on the FNC was mine at the time. Kind of zipping to modern, a couple of people asked us to cover some of the 5.56 NATO 223 Remington caliber Kalashnikov variants. So with that in mind, I grabbed my Arsenal SLR 106CR that I've kind of customized a wee bit. We have had a few different ones. Of course, the Arsenal SA M5. We've had the SLR 106 as both a carbine and pistol. We've had some Zastava guns, including the M85 and M90. We've had Segas and Vepers in 223 5.56. Of course, we've had Chinese guns like the Type 84 back in the day. And we've had Romanian guns like the SAR 3 and Wasser 3. And also the Polish Archer 01, the semi-auto Beryl, which we've also been asked if there's any updates on if those are coming in, which actually, yeah, I kind of do have a bit of an update. It may not be what you want to hear, but I have actually heard quite recently about those. And, really the way to kind of go with that will be looking at the two basic ways different manufacturers went about doing a 5.56 AK. Namely, did they start with the AKM or the AK-74? Because that's the thing. With the earlier designs, AK-47, AKM, AK-74, and the X-39 calibers, they're pretty well standard, taking standard mags and a lot of times the same standard parts for the bolts. But when it comes to 223s, they really went amongst and did their own thing. Although there are some similarities. So yeah, that should be a fun AK video. Another one we were asked about was government use of the Smith & Wesson Model 13-3. Now this is actually my Model 15-2, but it was just the Smith & Wesson to hand I grabbed. This will be something that's a little outside of our wheelhouse, but that can always be fun. But full disclosure, we are not wheel gun experts, but we will do the best we can, including probably showing you a Model 13. But we can certainly do that. Another one, we've had a supporter that is extremely enthusiastic about Persian Mausers. I didn't grab a Persian because honestly I don't own one at this time, although I've had many in the store. But actually I grabbed my VZ24 just because it was to hand. And there's actually a pretty good connection between Brno and the whole Persian Mauser family. We can definitely talk about that, the variations and differences, and in that post he offered to loan some guns or do any kind of Farsi translation. And I'm always thrilled to talk about old bolt guns. The only reason I don't do it more is the internet isn't always excited to hear about them, but I love anything old and dusty and covered in cosmoline with history. So we can definitely talk about that, and there have been some amazingly pristine examples of Persian, today Iranian Mausers imported over the years, including some with matching bayonets and even test targets. So we can definitely talk about that. Another video that was requested was for Jay and I to kind of do our 1945 dream team of squadron, talking about the different weapons. For example, rifles, machine guns, sniper rifles, pistols. So that could be a fun one. Now, some things he mentioned were like shotguns, and I've got my Trenchgun out here. The reason I brought it out is, frankly, when you're talking about shotguns, that's about it. America was nearly the only one to really field shotguns in World War II, and even other countries that had shotguns, half the time they were American, or they were just hunting guns. But on the other hand, things like pistols, for example, I just brought out my Lahti. This is my Swedish one. Of course, every country had their own designs, and what's kind of fun about 1945 is everyone was more or less doing their own thing with rifles, pistols, submachine guns. Although, of course, sniper rifles of the day just typically were the bolt guns with the scope slapped on. It's kind of pre-specialized sniper. But yeah, that should be a fun video, and definitely one that Jay and I will need to do together. But yeah, those are some of the $5 requests we have had so far. Feel free to drop it in anytime if you have one. As we said, it will take us time to get it done, because it takes time to get kind of research together, notes, and if we need to meet up, it could take a few weeks for that to happen. But we'd rather deliver something you at least don't hate and that doesn't seem rushed than to try to get it out immediately and just kind of deliver something that's quite frankly pathetic. While our videos are not scripted, we usually wait till we feel prepared. For one thing, inspired, like we're excited to talk about it, but also another, where we've kind of done what research and gained what experience we can, for example, with shooting guns if necessary, to actually give some real world feedback, not just hey, we shot it for a week and it works. Because that's one of the benefits of being a private channel and, amateur even. We're not taking teeny guns so that we have to return back in a week, so we're in a rush to do it. We can kind of do things on our own time. And speaking of that, the announcement is probably no surprise. We're going to go on our vacation here for a bit, as we do every 2, 3, 4 months. We have put out a pretty large number of videos since our last vacation back in the fall, and with Christmas and everything, I was sick with the flu, and Jay has been busy at work, and frankly there just hasn't been a whole lot new in the gun world to talk about. And what has been new, we have talked about. So it's kind of time to catch up on our own stuff and wait for hopefully new things. I do have 5 or 6 new guns coming in, but they're not here yet. And of course, SHOT Show will be out in a little under 2 weeks. So hopefully there's something legitimate to talk about from there, and hopefully it's not vaporware. It's kind of the problem with SHOT Show lately. You go, even if you see something you really get excited over, is it really going to come out? So much that you see there either doesn't come to market or doesn't come to market for a year. And at that point it's kind of Other stuff might be kind of hyped up, and then you get it, you see it, and it's just kind of the same old, but with new furniture or a new caliber, but nothing else. But you never know until it happens, so it never hurts to remain optimistic. So we'll probably have a SHOT Show analysis, especially if there's a couple of things we're really actually excited about. Discussion pretty quick. And if SHOT Show is super boring, it'll be like 5 minutes. And if it's exciting, it'll be an hour. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, do usual stuff. We wanted to give you plenty of content over the holidays, and I hope you've enjoyed what we put out. We will be back at the end of January or so to pick things back up, and hopefully with some new, fresh shooting footage and history videos and review videos of hopefully new products. Well, we sincerely hope that your 2020 has started off well. As always, we greatly appreciate everyone. Of course, the people who sponsored the $5 videos, but the $1 people, of course, are just as valuable. And even if you can't support on Patreon, just like, sharing, and subscribing and commenting are all greatly appreciated, and does not go unnoticed. So, with that said, on behalf of Jay, this is Misha, wishing you a couple of good weeks, and we'll be back soon. And in the interim, as we always do, we will be posting a couple of videos every so often from the archives, or, you know, kind of old catalog stuff that didn't make it out before. But we'll be back with fresh content just as soon as there's something to make content about. Alrighty, guys. Wishing you all the best, and we'll be back soon. Until that time, take care, and if you need to, please feel free to message us on Patreon or shoot me an email. Until then, we'll catch you next time.